Welcome back to Budget Day Live. This is our last panel, a big political panel, and Smriti Irani joins our panel now from the BJP. Also joining us from an outside location representing no political party, just the president of the FICCI and head of HSBC, Nainalal Kidwai. Ms. Kidwai, this is a political panel, but we aren't politicians, and a few of us on the panel aren't politicians, so please don't feel out of place in this. Atul Kumar Anjan, representing National Secretary of the Communist Party of India. Bijay Panda, representing the BJD. Madhu Gaud Yakshi, representing the Congress Party. Omkar Goswami and Lord Meghnath Desai. Navika Kumar continues to be there with us. Smriti, I have an interesting quote. I don't know if you missed it. Chidambaram says in one part of his speech, quoting Joseph Stiglitz, Nobel Prize-winning laureate, he says there is a compelling moral case for equity, but it is also necessary if it is to be sustained. It is also necessary if there is to be sustained growth. A country's most important resource is its people. And then he goes on to say, we have examples of states growing at a fast rate, but leaving behind women, don't give me that tired expression, leaving behind scheduled castes, leaving behind scheduled tribes, leaving behind minorities, and leaving behind some backward classes. My quiz question to you is, which state, this is the KBC question on the news hour, which state, Smriti Irani, in your view, was Chidambaram talking about?
Haryana.
Three choices. Haryana, Assam, West Bengal, or Gujarat.
You know, it's not encouraging that you ask me a KBC question on a day that there is a surcharge if you win more than 1 crore. I think that it was once very famously said by a US politician about a certain budget, that this is an attempt to smoke the numbers, cook the books, hide the truth, and hope that nobody finds out. I heard Mr. Sindhi.
Which state was he referring to?
I heard, no, since you are gleefully referring to Gujarat, I heard Mr. Sindhi before I came on.
You choose D. Yeah.
I don't choose anything. I'm wanting to put a statement of fact before you. And it's unfortunate that I don't think Mr. Sindhia is around anymore. But I heard his vehement defense of his ministry and that of his government on your channel just before I came on. And he spoke about his 100 days of performance. Now, very humbly, as a member of parliament who represents Gujarat, I would like to submit to you that while Mr. Chidambaram today speaks of those who are left behind, here is a state like Gujarat which has surplus power. And when we decide that let us share it with states which have a challenge with regards to power, we find that there are constraints in the inter-regional transmission corridor. We write to the Government of India as early as Feb 3rd, 2011. Now, while Mr. Sindhia speaks about his 100 days of performance, as of the 13th of December 2012, we receive a letter from the government stating that this issue for which states like Tamil Nadu and Kerala have gone to the Supreme Court, have gone to the government stating that when there is surplus power.
You made it a case of
questions. I see that you're clearly enamored by Mr. Chidambaram's rhetoric about women, and I am holding with me papers which include the action taken report of the government, so that I can put forth to you what the government thinks of its own performance. Here is a government which speaks about timely reforms, which speaks about solutions to those who need it, but does not act in a timely fashion. Now, I'm not going to repeat the oft-heard, challenges with regards to clearances in the infrastructure segment. Since you talk particularly about women and youth, and Mr. Chidambaram leaves no opportunity to speak about skills, let me here say that when Mr. Jaitley, Arnab, let me finish. When Mr. Jaitley speaks about jugglery, he speaks about it, I believe, on the basis of what has been read in the mid-year economic analysis of the government. Now, in the last budget, the same government had announced a 1,000 crore budget for the National Skill Development Fund, and that the government itself in December 2012 says that in view of present fund position, it has been decided not to allocate funds to the National Skill Development Fund, and now in Feb, the same government goes ahead and announces the same scheme again, announces the same allocation again. Now, for all those people who are extremely enamored by the Mahila Bank, while I welcome the fact that Mr. Chidambaram has suddenly thought about a Mahila bank and not told us when the branches and where the branches of this bank will open so that women can avail of its services, I would like to attract your attention to the fact that in the last budget speech, the same government led by the Congress party had announced that to ensure the financial health of public sector banks, a provision of 15,888 crores will be made. And as of December 2012, the same government allocates only 200 crores. So given the past performance of this government with regards to implementation of so-called announcements,
Madhu Gaudiakshi,
pardon me,
I'll have to take, I've written everyone.
With a pinch of salt.
Your answer could have been very simple to my very simple question. You could have said or not the state that Mr. Chidambaram.
I'll give you as many simple answers as you desire.
You could have said or not the state Mr. Chidambaram is referring to is Gujarat. However, you've raised some other important points. I know you said so. Otherwise, we'll keep the question rolling.
I refer to the power crisis and the fact that Gujarat has a solution which the government does not want to accept.
Madhu Gaudiakshi, Smriti Irani in her opening comments has accused your government of insincerity with the Mahila Bank, of trying to fudge numbers by actually promising funds and not ever giving them. And she's also rebutted the charge on Gujarat, which Chidambaram referred to, saying your government has a perennial problem with trying to discriminate non-Congress rule states. Your response to it? Because what you're being accused of is complete hypocrisy.
Answer your question.
That's all right.
Answer about the Mahila, women and minority people and rural sector, which is Gujarat boasting about growth in the state, ignoring the minority welfare and women welfare and rural areas. So which is clearly evident. Congress has consistent stood for the Mahilas, women empowerment, right from the local bodies reservation during Rajivji's time onwards. So whatever we said it and we're committed for it, and we always implemented it.
She said she gave you an example.
National skill development. No, it's a national skill development started last year, and today in the budget allocate another 1,000 crores to having 1 lakh, 10 lakh youth can be empowered by getting a skill training and make them available to the jobs, and which is. And also 1,000 crores to the Mahila Bank to...
Yes, Smriti. 1 minute. Smriti, I'll come back to you.
Consistent stand and committed, not just making rhetoric, not like India shining what they've done in their own tenure. Congress has delivered what it is promised. How
sincere was Chidambaram's attempt at prudence today, Jay Panda?
Well, I think everybody understands that Mr. Chidambaram was walking on a tight wire. And it's an accumulated list of problems because of misgovernance and mishandling of the economy. So his singular focus was on the fiscal deficit, and he wanted to send a signal that growth is the biggest imperative. And you've seen how the markets have reacted. The initial reaction of the very constituency that he has given the topmost priority to is at best lukewarm.
Almost
tepid, right? Now,
why?
The point is, there is no clarity in the budget. Now, if he was really going to go for that, he wouldn't have had lots of contradictory things in the budget. For instance, you give an incentive for investment in manufacturing companies. At the same time, you increase the taxes on manufacturing companies that make a little extra profit. Let me give you another instance of conflict. Now, you've got this symbolic message of taxing the super rich. Just a couple of months ago, Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik made a proposal to the centre to have a supernormal windfall profits tax on the mining sector, just like Australia has implemented. Many individuals have made hundreds of crores of profit individually. Many companies have made thousands of crores of profit in the mining sector. If you're going to be consistent, if you're going to tax super rich individuals, why do you reject Odisha's proposal to have a windfall profit tax?
Are you pro-corporates? Are you pro big money? Madhu Gaudiakshi, you're on the mat on that question. I'd like to get in Atul Kumar Anjan at this stage. Government is being prudent, is tightening its fist, and yet is improving its allocation to education. It's increased allocation to rural development ministry. In other words, to the poor. You should be extremely happy with Chidambaram's prudent, pragmatic budget this time, despite your personal animosity.
Arnab, from the morning you are discussing and you are dissecting the whole, budget of this government and what we have achieved. Right now, you said correctly that this is the last budget of this government. But all facts and figure which has been said as far as the rural development is concerned, last year also very big claims were there and it doesn't hold the ground. Now what is happening today? Tell me, is there any money? for having the cold chains? You are saying FDI and all that. I'm saying that I'm not saying FDI. We are waiting for FDI. But by that time, 40% you see, our things will perish. This whole horticulture and all that. And the farmers will not get anything. And one thing, you are talking about the roads and all that. By this road and corridors, more than 3.5 lakh hectares of land will go. From where you will get the farmers will get some money. But the main question is
you don't want infrastructure development.
No, infrastructure.
You don't want
No. What is the plan of the government? A very interesting point I'm just going to tell you. There is every year we are getting about 110,000 MBA boys. Where they will be absorbed? 1 lakh MTech, BTech students are coming after paying 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs.
How will they be absorbed in a country that lacks infrastructure?
Our finance minister has not. Our finance minister has
I put that question to Naina Lal Kidwai. Naina Lal Kidwai.
Our industry is in a position to absorb such numbers of youth.
Well, I think we are hearing different points of view. I want to get in Naina Lal Kidwai today. Do you think the initial response is now a little bit more tempered? Naina Lal Kidwai, this morning, immediately after the budget, there was a sense of ebullience. Has that been tempered down a bit?
If you are asking for industry's viewpoint, Arnab, I do believe that there is a firm view that this is a responsible budget. And that comes largely from the fact that there was a fear that there would be a playing to the gallery and a populist budget which would in fact not be prudent. What we have, and which is an objective which frankly we do believe will be achieved, is a fiscal deficit of 4.8. It's not going to be easy, because when you look at the revenue side of how we are going to get there as a country, those numbers are quite large. The good news there is, and which is what I think industry feels good about, is industry has been crying for growth. And now, through this budget, growth is central to the plan. Without growth, we do not achieve that fiscal deficit. Without growth, in fact, we would have a real issue. And Chidambaram started his entire speech by talking about growth and the fact that growth was critical to see sustainable development of the country. So I think just in terms of a fiscal deficit being controlled and growth being settled to the agenda, we still have reason for, I won't say celebration, but at least for relief and indeed some measure of confidence that we are headed in the right direction. And let's not look at the budget for everything. After all, to sort through a lot of the messes which we have heard described, the issues around regulatory frameworks, delivery of projects which are stuck, all of this lies squarely with the ministries and government outside of the budget. The budget fortunately touches on this, and I would hope that following through on the delivery is going to be important in the immediate future, because we do have a crisis on our hands.
I want to test this budget on an index of sincerity. And here's my question. We are talking about prudence. Now, everybody has completely torn apart NREGA. You've had government meetings, all kinds of criticism. There's a drop in the work generated, massive drop. There is huge delays in the payment of wages. Why has another 33,000 crores been added to this scheme when the very purpose of this scheme needs to be reworked? I'm just putting this question out, because if there's so much prudence, why are you sentimental about these schemes which have collapsed? Madhu Godeachi, they've collapsed.
No, it's not collapsed.
It has collapsed.
No, it's not true. Like I have a ground experience on this. This is one single act raised the minimum wages to the unorganized sector. No law could have implemented what NREG scheme has done.
Mr. God,
now we are including even the
minimum wages was not what you went out to address through that. What you were addressing is unemployment and security. It was a kind of social security.
Precisely.
If you're looking at minimum wages, then that's not the law to look at. It's some other law that we have to look at.
It also depends on the states to implement it.
No, but let me give you the most startling statistics. Let me get you the most.
Even the recent railway budget, it is even clubbing with the NREG scheme with the railway.
Like it or not, NREGA has raised rural wages at 7% per annum in real terms for the last 5 years. Absolutely. Nothing in the whole world would have achieved that.